Hey, everybody. So, in this episode, I want to talk about ranting.
Hi everyone, I'm Jennifer Colari. I'm a child and family therapist and a parenting coach and the founder of Connected Parenting. And welcome to the Connected Parenting Weekly Podcast. Join me every week and we'll tackle everything from temper tantrums to bedtime to sibling issues to teenage angst. Parenting can be so wonderful, but it can be so hard. Parents often say to me, "Hey, can you just come live at my house?" This is the next best thing. Let's do this together.
So, that's where, you come home, maybe there's nobody home, you trip over a backpack, you go into the kitchen, the cupboard doors are open, there's dishes in the sink, and you start ranting. Unbelievable. Of course I trip on something. And of course, nobody ever closed the kitchen doors. And of course, there's dishes in the sink. Nobody would ever put anything in the dishwasher. That's only for me to do. And we start this whole ranting symphony in our head. And while we're doing that, our limbic system is receiving signals. Our heart is pounding, we're clenching our fists, we're gritting our teeth, our breathing is rushed, and our limbic system now assumes, oh, well, we're in danger. Something's attacking us. This is bad. Now, the more angry you get and the more limbic you get, the more your brain is responding to this, the more you are fueling this state that you're in. So here's the thing. You can only really be angry for 90 seconds. 90 seconds, you get 90 seconds of fuel to fight, flight, or freeze. After 90 seconds, that starts to drop down and your limbic system starts to cool down slightly and your frontal lobe starts to come back on. And that's the thinking, feeling part of your brain that takes perspective and can inhibit and organize and prioritize. So in that 90 seconds, you are in fight or flight, and then it starts to go down. Then what do? We hit the reset button. We keep ranting. And now this, of course. Oh, now this isn't even done. Why am I the only one that does anything? So we start another kind of rant that then re-engages the brain and starts another 90 seconds. So we continuously hit the reset button so that we are ranting and ranting and ranting. And sometimes we just do this in our head. Sometimes we have a fight with our spouse in our head. And we're actually having a conversation. You're actually saying the things that if you really wish you could, you would say, but you don't. When you're actually in front of them, you say something very different, which is probably a good thing. But in your head, you're having this rant. Now, the brain likes to collect similar thoughts. That's how the brain works. It makes connections. And when you think of something, it makes you think of something else, which makes you think of something else. That's how conversations go. That's how we learn. The brain likes to collect similar information, and it runs on this track. So when you are in this negative, angry space, your brain is on this mission. It's like, those little round vacuum cleaners that spin around the house looking for dust? That's what your brain's doing. It's looking now for everything that confirms your point of view in that moment, which is that nobody does anything, you're the only one that does anything, whatever that is. So as you are giving that much attention and that much focus and that much energy to those things, your brain starts to associate those things with a very fearful event because you're frightened and upset and angry while you're talking about it. So now it's tagging those things, just like a computer, just like Google. So after you calm down and you walk into a room and one of those things that you've been ranting about is happening, it lights your brain back up again. So we think that we're venting. We think that we're releasing. We think that this is actually helping us. And to a small degree it is, but not if we keep going and going and going. What we're actually doing though is we're tagging these things. We're actually zeroing in our mental energy, our thoughts, and our focus onto all the things we don't want. It's like taking a magnifying glass out in the sun, holding it over a piece of paper, and it's going to catch on fire. That's literally what we're doing with our thoughts when we take that sort of mental magnifying glass and go around the house with it. There are probably all kinds of things in our day. We don't like to admit it, but all kinds of things that actually went right, that people actually did, or things your husband might have put away or your wife might have put away and you didn't notice because you didn't see it. You only see what's not done. We have to understand that our world is a perception and that our brain is loaded with data all the time. We cannot pay attention to everything in our lives. It's impossible. So the reticular activation system, which is part of the brain that helps us pick and choose from reality what we're actually going to pay attention to, that's actually what we see. So the more you are tagging events that are upsetting, the more of those things you're going to find. And the more of those things you're going to find, the more you're going to rant. So here's what I would suggest that you do. The next time you catch yourself in a rant, just take a breath for a second. Let yourself do it. Say, okay, self, be nice to yourself. Use the calm technique on yourself. It's exhausting. It's a hard job. You've been working all day, or you've just spent hours doing something in the house and someone's just undone it in 2 seconds. Take a moment and just be kind to yourselves, to show a little bit of compassion to yourself. We're human. This is very difficult. After you've done that, take a breath and just try to switch your brain so that it's not going in the negative, looking for negative things, direction. You're kind of stopping it, seeing if you can just stay in a neutral position. Can you find anything in your home that is just fine the way that it is? Is there a thought that you can think of that things are actually okay? Get your brain to start collecting other things in the other direction. Now, you can't go all the way from being upset about nobody doing anything in your house to, oh, you know what, I'm being ridiculous. I have a beautiful home and I have a nice family. And then you just feel mad at yourself. Then you're just going to feel horrible. You're a horrible person for being upset in the first place. That doesn't work. You can't jump from that place to this place. It's too big of a jump. And your limbic system is on guard still. It's not going to let you go from that to happy in case that thing was going to eat you. So it wants to make sure that you've got this under control. So you slowly take the wheel and try really hard to see if you can shift the direction. And then what you do is you try to reach for the next best feeling thought, just a thought that feels slightly better than the one that you just had. So this house is a mess, nobody cares about me, everyone just takes advantage of me. Okay, but I did tell people to put that away and somebody did, that's good. Or I really did like the way my child, said thank you for something this morning. Or I really did have a nice time with my friend when I went for coffee this morning. Just add something that's in the slightly different direction. And then find another thought that's a little better. And then another thought it's like you're climbing a mental knotted rope out of a hole. And you just keep reaching for the next best feeling thought until you slowly can lift yourself out of this mood. Make sure that you're breathing. Make sure that you're calm. Make sure that you are thinking about either neutral things or really happy things and moving in the other direction. If you were driving your car and you realize you missed your turn, you wouldn't be like, ah, and flip the car over. You would notice, oh, I better make a slow lane change here. So that's kind of what you're doing. You're slowly guiding your brain back into a different direction so you can actually change the mood. And as you do that, your cortisol levels are going to drop. The adrenaline levels are going to go down. You're going to start to reach a more neutral place. And the more you practice this, the better you're going to get at this. The reason this is really important is we expect our kids to be able to switch their moods when they're ranting about their siblings or complaining about how stupid homework is, or they rant too. And by the way, sometimes when our kids do it, we're like, oh, that is very familiar. That sounds like me. Okay. So we also want to be aware that they are watching us all the time. So when you are using these techniques, either internally, or if your kids are around, you can kind of do it out loud so they can watch it. You don't have to make it a whole teaching lesson. Just let them watch. Kids are watching all the time. So they'll watch and they'll think, oh, that's interesting. So you're showing them that your emotions don't control you, that you control your emotions. And it's something that we expect our children to be able to do. So if we expect them to be able to do it, then we have to practice doing it. Again, this is like a muscle. You have to get better and better at doing this. You're not going to be able to do it right away. You'll get better and better at it over time. But I guess the thought I want to leave people with is we're very careful about what we eat. We're very careful about health. Why would we let ourselves think thoughts and continuously stay in this thought process that is negative for us, that isn't helping us, that is causing this kind of internal pollution in our own mind? It's not helping. Nobody's going to come down from the sky and go, you know what, you're right. This is ridiculous. Let's fix this for you. It doesn't work that way. Everyone is the star of their own movie. Everyone sees themselves as the good guy in the tale. So no one is ever going to see it the way we see it. And you can never control what other people think. You can never understand, you can never control other people, but you can always control your emotional response to those things and to those people. And that's a really important thing. This actually really does lead you to freedom. So I wanted to just put this out there as a challenge. I want people to try this. Just see if you can try this. So let yourself vent and rant, catch yourself in the rant, breathe, relax your muscles, drop your tongue in the bottom of your mouth, just let your tongue go soft and you'll see that your stomach will relax, which is sending a signal to the brain that you're not in danger. Take a breath and just see if you can slowly find the next best feeling thought, and then the next best feeling thought, and then the next best feeling thought. Sometimes you jump too much, too high, and you're like, no, I'm still mad. That feels like too happy a thought for me. So go back down a couple of rungs and try again. See if you can practice this. And then I would love to hear from people. I want people to try it for the next couple of weeks, and then just send me an email, or you can send me a message on Facebook and let me know how it's going. I do this all the time. It has completely changed the way that I manage when I'm feeling stressed or overwhelmed. And the people that I've shared this technique with have found it to be very, very helpful, but it does take a little bit of practice. So let me know how it's going. And, this isn't easy, but it helps. And good luck.
Hi, I'm Barrett Kaleri from Connected Parenting. I hope you enjoyed our podcast. And don't forget to check us out on the web at connectedparenting.com and like us and follow us on Facebook.